How attractive is smoking to you?
I don't think smoking is attractive at all. It's gross.
I mean, not very. When you hear somebody go like, "Hey, you want to smoke some darts?" You just want to,
Nope. Not at all.
Let's go with a 1 out of 10.
Not attractive at all. Probably one of the least attractive things out there. Probably be smoking, in my opinion.
Not at all. It's gross.
It's a complete turn off and it's disgusting.
Disgusting. What's wrong with people?
No good. It's no good. It's not. Don't do it. It's gross. Don't do it.
Not too much. Not really.
Very unattractive. How attractive do I find it? Not attractive at all.
So, how did you start smoking?
Well, I would say it started somewhere around 14 years old. Some friends of mine had snuck some cigarettes and thought it would be cool to experiment with them, and so that's what we did. What started off as something fun to play around with soon became something couldn't live without anymore.
How much were you smoking back then?
Pack and a half a day.
So you could say like after you got by we're just doing it because it's cool, like you started to enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, getting past this is cool, this is rebellious, this is what we shouldn't be doing, the thrill of all of that. It became part of my life.
What steps did you start to take, or what realizations did you have that led you to stop smoking?
Well, there was several actually. The first one was gradually, and it takes time before you realize what cigarette smoking is doing to you, but over time I started noticing my energy level dropping. I started coughing all the time, coughing with cigarettes, coughing without cigarettes. I also noticed that colds, I was always having colds. I was unable to shake colds, and most of the winter I had a cold, and I found myself just not recovering from things, progressively feeling less healthy. So why did I quit smoking? Those are some of the reasons. A lot had to do with health, a lot had to do with my wife didn't appreciate as I talked about, the odor that I carried. Had a lot to do with my decreased health, and also at about 18, 19, I came to a stronger faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, and that started to play on me as well. That you know, I'm not treating my body the way I should be. I'm not looking after myself the way I should be, and so I decided I was going to quit. And it was at that point I realized just how strong the addiction was. I couldn't quit. I tried just about everything that I knew to try and quit, and it was that's when I discovered really how much I was in the grip of this cigarette addiction. I would try to go 2 days without a cigarette. I couldn't do it. So then I thought, well, I'm not going to buy cigarettes. I'm just going to fight this thing, and I'm not going to buy cigarettes anymore. So I stopped buying cigarettes. But my friends still smoked, and so that led me to bum cigarettes a lot, and that didn't win me any friends either. So then I made every effort to stop that, and then I found myself just trying to find, and this is not a pleasant thing to say, but this is what cigarette smoking reduced me to, is trying to find cigarette butts that were lit, and just so I could get a smoke. And I've talked to other friends of mine who went through similar experiences, and it may seem like cigarette smoking is harmless. It may seem like it's a simple addiction, but it's one of the most powerful addictions that grabs a hold of you, and one of the most difficult to quit. And I experienced that, and I tried everything to quit. It reduced me to some behaviors I'm not proud of, and embarrassing behaviors. And so I began to pray. And I remember one day working, I was working as a mechanic at the time, and I was in the lunchroom by myself, and I was just praying, and help me quit. I don't have the strength to quit this addiction. Help me, Lord. And I heard the Lord say, if you can go there with me, I heard the Lord say, make a choice. Understand that I'll always love you, but make a choice. But if you choose the cigarette, look what happens to our relationship. And if I were to walk towards the cigarette, it was as if I was walking, the distance between Jesus and myself would grow. And he said, is that what you want? I said, no, Lord, I want you more than the cigarette. And it was from that day forward, I never touched another cigarette again in my life.
Great. Joe, when did you have your first joint?
I was in grade 9. The reason I had it in grade 9 was because it was more of a social thing. All of my friends that I grew up with were starting to get into it, and I felt like that was normal and it was acceptable because everybody around me was doing it.
Do you feel like if you hadn't, you would have been ostracized, maybe?
In a way, yeah, I feel like I would be judged a little bit if I didn't, but now that I think about it now, it's kind of pathetic because, you know, I'm my own person and I have my own thoughts, my own actions, and whatever I do is my choice. It's nobody else's, and nobody else should have an effect on what I choose.
Did you, as you started to smoke joints and stuff, did you find that you began to enjoy it instead of just have the social aspects of it, being with your buddies?
Like Pastor said, I wouldn't say that I necessarily enjoyed it. It was more of the whole group and everyone was together doing it together, and it was something that we could all come together and do together, and it would just be fun. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. It was just like nothing else mattered because that's all I was focused on at one point.
Did smoking joints lead to smoking cigarettes for you?
Yeah, it was about in the summer of last year, so I was going into grade 12. I started smoking cigarettes. I took one from one of my close friends when we were at a party, and I felt like it wouldn't be a big deal because I was already smoking marijuana. So I took it without any thought of consequence or what it would do to my health or anything. I just accepted it, and it led into more of an addicting thing than it did just for fun.
So you could say it stopped being a social call and started being for yourself, maybe not with people?
Yep, I would say that once I stepped away from everyone else, it was like I wanted to go back and just keep doing it, which I felt like deep in that it was wrong, but I felt like I was just overpowered by what I was doing, and it just felt right at the time.
Now, you've quit, right?
Yeah.
What steps led you to decide to quit?
Well, I kind of took a step back and looked at my life and where I was and who I had around me. Like the pastor said, he turned to Jesus, and I kind of took a step back and looked at everyone around me. I looked at my family, I looked at myself, I looked at my friends, I looked at the friends I thought were friends, and then I looked at my real friends who were on my swim team, which I'm back at that now. I'm swimming again. Yeah, I just feel like it kind of just took over, I guess, in a way. But now that I quit, I sort of realized like how it affected me mentally and physically. You know, it made me feel down a lot. I was really down, and that's kind of why I turned to it a lot, because
I didn't want to feel anything. The feeling of being numb felt right. I just didn't know what else to do, and then once I turned to my parents and my friends, I kind of opened up to their help and what they could do for me rather than sitting down and having a joint or having a cigarette. Kind of just taking things a little bit slower and realizing what I was doing and how it was affecting me. It was affecting me physically, my lungs. I couldn't do the same things that I was doing. Running was a chore. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work out.
What recommendations would you have for anybody else in potentially grade 9 entering high school, coming up and recognizing that they might be entering the same scenario that you were in?
Well, the peer pressure is really strong in grade 9, so I would just say try and stay away from as many bad influences that you can, for one. For two, I know it's really tough for some people just to drop and walk away from what they've been around for a while, and I can say that from experience. It's really hard to walk away from something that you've been surrounded in for so long, and then try and be accepted from other people. That's really hard. But an advice would just be to try and stay away from it as much as you can. You know, talk to more people, get into more social groups. You know, join clubs. There's clubs at the school. There's sports activities you can do. There's a lot of things that can steer you away from that path.